Hi guys, welcome back to Taylor Talks Trades. In this week's episode we are with none other than Charlie Mullins, OBE, for our part 2. Charlie, how are you?
I'm really good, Jamie, and it's great you guys have come down to London to our new offices, and you know, this is going to be an exciting interview because we're 1 month away now from opening the company, so you can see there's lots of building work going on, but the passions have come fully back now.
Yeah, so in part 1 we covered your 42-year history with Pimlico, how you started back in 1979, went the full shooting match and sold out for 140 plus million. Yeah,
exciting.
You were doing the sums here.
I'm just checking you got the figures right.
Yeah, 145 mil, we'll call it.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know,
what's a few mil here?
You're right. You're right.
So yeah, we covered that, how you got into the trades, you know, how you got your OBE, all that great stuff, all the apprenticeships work that you did. Now you're back in the UK again, you're coming to, well, WeFix is coming to fix London. Why are you starting again?
Okay, most certainly. Look, as you say, the old company's all been in the past, very successful, and you know, delighted that I was involved with it and got it where it's got. We're now at a different time in business anyhow. You know, the world's changed, and you know, this is very much going to be a family business. WeFix, many members of family are being here, wives, girlfriends, not at the same time. I know we've done that one before, but you know, so it's a complete different sort of ball game now. You know, and I suppose the question is going to be, can we make it happen again?
Yeah.
And
do you feel you've got something to prove?
I don't think I've got anything to prove, but
because you've done it, you've hit the pinnacle.
Yeah, no, it's not about proving it. This is now about, you know, I think the market's out there again for a top class business, like any business, and I think that London's screaming out for it. You know, it's been a bad 3 years in business lately. Mm-hmm. You know, recession and I think it was a recession. Then we had the COVID, and you know, a lot of this working from home nonsense and all this, and I just feel now that it's the right time to get back in business and the right time to get to the front again. Yeah,
and what's your thoughts on then what you're going to do different from Pimlico? Pimlico was massively successful. You obviously sold for that amount. Are you going to do things differently, or are you going to pick up the old model and roll with it again?
Well, it's certainly going to be a lot different, that's for sure. A lot more upmarket, a lot more forward thinking, a lot more, you know, modern way of doing things. I think we're going to work on the same type of, you know, quality of service. You know, for me in business, the most important thing is quality of service. Yeah. And we will definitely maintain that, but hopefully it'll be a lot better because we've decided now that whoever we employ has got to be the best plumbers, the best roofers, the best drainage, best everything available in London. That's for sure. And same with the office staff; they've all got to be the best. We're not taking on anybody that is not going to be up to our standards. I think in the past, perhaps we had people at Pimlico that, you know, maybe we should have got rid of them a little bit quicker. They sort of started off, but you know, they get a little bit sort of complacent, I thought. So anyhow, we're looking to only employ the best and offer a much top quality service. And there's been a big change in like the design of the van. Yes, we're still using Volkswagen because I think they're the best out there for the trades, but it's a lot more sharp, a lot more modern, a lot more dynamic. And you know, I've got the same marketing manager that I had before. He's worked with me for 40 years, and he's come up with this, as you can see, this idea. And on the last company, they was the most powerful or recognisable vehicles on the road, and undoubtedly now, WeFix will be the most recognisable vehicle, trade vehicle in London. Yeah. So I've got a different approach to it. I've got an approach, I think, where before it took us 41 years to get where we got, but this ain't going to take 41 years. I mean, I haven't got 41 years.
What's the goals then? So in terms of when you exited Pimlico, it was doing like annual revenues of 50 million. Are you looking to get back to there? Are you looking to exceed that? What's the? I'm thinking along the lines of, have you got an exit strategy this time? And I know it's probably more, like you said, family-run business, and it's maybe the family that's going to look to exit this time. But
okay, well, look, I'm not going to have an exit strategy myself on it because you know I'm not on the payroll, and my role is more going to be knowledge, advice, and the PR side of it. Very much a family business. It's for them to decide what they want to do if and when they want to get out. There's always a right time to get out, but I don't think it's the right time now to start thinking of an exit. But are we going to try and exceed the turnover on previously? Yes, we are. Are we going to be a better company than before? Yes, we are. Are we going to be more in the media than before? Yes, we are. Are we going to employ the best people? You know the answer. So it's a lot of drive, a lot of enthusiasm, and you know yourself that there's no substitute for experience. And I think 41 years at Pimlico, started with as a plumber with a van, and ended up with about 450 people. And I think to achieve that and sell out, I think it's the ultimate in business, I'll be honest with you. But the knowledge you pick up and learn, and when you're not in the business, it's easier to look back and think, why did we do this? Why didn't we do that? But so now we're not taking chances no more. We don't need to. We know what works, and that's the way we're going to operate. We're just not going to be, so you have to test this, you have to test that. We're going to do the trade number plates again, and undoubtedly, your vehicle on the road is the best advertising tool you've got, and it costs you nothing, if you know.
What else, from a marketing point of view, what makes the phone ring? Like, what is the tried and tested things? Because I know you've been huge on PR, doing interviews like this on GB News this morning, Telegraph's in later on. You're constantly out there, so that in turn will allow the WeFix brand to be right everywhere. Yeah. So that's brand awareness. But is there any sort of marketing strategies as such? Is it?
Yeah, well, look,
is it Google now, or is there like anything like that?
Yeah, well, as you say, the brand is important, and I feel this is going to be a brand again, like Pimlico was. And again, I feel that by offering a quality service and the top engineers and reliability and trust, and the fact that they can good at the job, all them bits is what the customer wants. And I don't want to say this in a bad way, because we've got some great tradesmen out there, but I think standards have dropped a lot in business. And, we've got some great tradesmen out there, and it's just a matter of stepping up the game and giving customers what they want. What they really want is somebody to turn up on time, someone that's smart and tidy, somebody that knows how to do the job correctly, someone that's very transparent, and gets the job completed. That's what it's all about, quality of service.
It's like you've always said, it's common sense. It sounds so easy. When you just rhyme it off like that, it sounds so easy, yet so many tradespeople just get it wrong. They don't turn up on time, they turn up in that unbranded van, white van with rust all over it and things, and it's a hard business, the trades, but it's also, if you do the basics to an extremely high standard, then it's actually quite easy.
Well, I was going to say, I'm glad you said that, because to do it the right way is the best way, and I think it's the easiest way, because everybody becomes happy with it. Tradesmen are happy with the money they're earning. They're happy with the type of clientele you're dealing with. You get a lot more respect from customers by turning up on time, looking smart.
And just to touch on sort of regulation, and what I mean by that is, so for me with my roofing business, Taylor Roofs, the roofing industry is unregulated in Scotland, so you don't.
It's unregulated.
Yeah, it's unregulated. So there's a lot of rogue traders, and like anybody can get a van, ladders, tools, and go and pose as fixing a roof, basically. So a lot of people getting ripped off. I think you're different, because your guys can go into like the gas safe register and the electrical standards and things, but as like regulation, I'm guessing that's a big part of what you guys will do at WeFix as well.
Undoubtedly, I mean, look, it needs to be regulated, because as you say, any Tom, Dick and Harry can just go out there and do something. And so, and you can't have that with plumbing. It's very much life and death, I think, if somebody gets something wrong on that side of it, certainly on the gas. And I'm all for the regulations, because it keeps a lot of the cowboys out of the business. And, I don't think customers today are prepared to put up with so much of dodgy tradesmen. And I think that, if we're all, sort of going by the rules and regulations how it should be, whether it be health and safety, or whether it be the gas safety or water regulations, then I think customers are much more happier with that. And, we're a professional company, and I think people expect a professional service. So I'm all for rules and regulations, and just as something that just comes to my mind now, I don't think any tradesman should be certainly in London, allowed to drive a van in London without their name and all their company details on it and registration numbers. A bit like America. I mean, the plumbers there are registered, and you can't work without a license on the plumbing there.
Hi guys, sorry to interrupt the episode, but I just wanted to say a massive thank you to Scope Branding for being our new podcast sponsor. As you're aware, if you've been listening and following the podcast, I'm really big on my branding and having branded workwear. We've teamed up with these guys. They've done all our work at Taylor Roofs, Taylor Solar, and now the Taylor Talks brand here that you can see. They're good quality, good prices, and really good service. Go and connect with Scope Branding on their social media channels, check out their website, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the episode. Yeah, I agree with that, because that was very much why I started the roofing business. Was I was fed up of seeing people being ripped off.
Yeah.
And we're very much like what I would call self-regulated. So the vetting procedures we can put ourselves through, we have done. So like National Federation of Roofing Contractors, and there's like the local trusted trader schemes. So you can go onto these and you get vetted. So all we can do is that, and then also do the brand awareness and put ourselves out there on like social media and things. And I think that does. Like if you're willing to put your face to the brand as well, which you've done over the years, then it does build a trust with
the
public
you know yourself.
Well.
I think the biggest concern customer has is, can I trust this tradesman that's coming here? Is he going to turn up? Does he know what he's talking about? Is he going to charge me the correct money? Is he going to do the job right? So you've got to build trust up, and I believe that the reputation that we had in the plumbing and heating industry is still out there. And I believe more so today that we provide a much better quality service. And again, I have to say, I think that, the standards have dropped a bit out there. And I just think by us up in the game, I actually think we're going to be a different level. And we're not out to mess any other company up with, the old company. We're not out. No, we're honestly, we're not out to mess them up.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, customer has a choice, but a customer will always pay for quality. And that's what we're going to be offering.
It's like most trades businesses, they start from someone feels that they can do a better job than where they already are. So like you probably had the similar thing when you were doing plumbing back in the day. You probably thought, I can have a go at this. You wrote the list and said people not turning up on time and not turning up with sign written vans and all the rest of it. So basically that's why anybody gets into businesses to solve a problem. So it's common sense for you.
It's common sense, and I'm going to say the thing, I don't necessarily think that the old company that we was, doing anything that was overexciting. What we was doing, it was the right way. And I think the right way is the best way. And I think more so today than ever that, people can check things out on the website. I think people are more demanding now for their money. And, if that's the case, then you've got to be up to the standard. I mean, look, if we can't get the proper engineers and proper staff, I would close the business down. We are not going to be, going out there just to make numbers up. We had a reputation, and I feel, I've had many customers sort of begging, the quicker you guys get going again. It's all about reliability and the trust and knowing that someone who's coming in your house that you're comfortable with. I mean, they're all things that I know and many of your listeners know, but they're so important. They're so important.
It's always going back to those basics and making sure you're getting the basics right.
That's it, yeah. I mean, again, I said to you about, I don't believe vans should go around with tradesmen in without names and phone numbers on. I don't believe any tradesman should work in somebody's property or commercial without a uniform on. And I'd like to see that brought in, because, anybody can just, pick up a bag of tools,
We've been the same with like the ID badges, and although we're not gas safe registered or anything, and that's quite a common thing for you to see with a gas engineer, we make sure that our roofers and our roof surveyors, when they're going out and doing estimates, they've actually got that on show, because it just shows that it means something. You've got the uniform, you've got the sign written vans, you've got the ID badge there just to say, look, it is definitely us. And we offer a guaranteed 1 hour arrival time slot as well. So it's something that we've found to be, allows us to be really reliable at that front end when a lot of people...
Well, it says a lot.
And it's common sense again, like you said. That comes from people, like you listen to what the homeowners are saying, and they're saying, I waited in all day and the roofer never showed up, or the plumber never showed up. And they said they were coming on Tuesday, but they never actually turned up. Then they phoned me on Wednesday to see if they could come, and they never told me. It's communication and all of that stuff, like totally.
Yeah, look, if you're a professional tradesman and you're a professional company, then just, you know, carry out it in a professional manner. And, you know, I love the bits you said about, you know, your guys with the ID and the uniform and the estimators. And that's exactly us. We won't have anybody that's working for us or with us without a uniform on in the office and out the office. And again, the identification and all sign written vans, it's just giving that person the trust. And that's the way to do it, for sure. There's no better way. I mean, you know, I believe that over the years with the previous company that I helped to change the industry for the better, you know, it was known as sort of dodgy plumbers and rip-off merchants and all the bits. And, you know, all we done was done it right, and it definitely works. And I think that customer expects a lot more from you now. I mean, you know, I'm pretty certain I know what you'd be like, but if you had a tradesman around, I don't think you'd be letting someone in that, you know, wasn't smart and uniform and ID, sign written van, because I know I would.
It's so easy to do now as well. I just don't think there's any excuse for not having that stuff in place. I don't think if you're a tradesperson and you're not doing that, then I don't.
Well, it should be proud to
yeah,
have a uniform on and proud to be
proud of their brand
in the van
as well.
And that's what we're hoping to build here.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that is very new that we're adding to the business is we're going to do. Everyone's going to be on share of the profits.
That's good.
And
so everyone's got buy-in to the.
Well, you know, it shows, I think, a bit more determination, a bit more respect for the company, and also that everybody benefits from it. Brilliant. So that's something we've never done in the past, but again, I believe it's a winner because more so now, people need more incentives for coming to work. They want to be part of something. They want to be, you know, we want people to be proud to be in a WeFix van and proud to be working for WeFix.
And you're going to offer the 4-day week, is that right?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, don't start me on the 4-day week, but
what is your thoughts on that? Because I've got like what my theory is on it as well. But
well, look, I mean, tradesmen cannot do 5 days' work in 4 days, and they say about adding a couple of more hours to the day, but your last couple of hours are not as productive. I don't think it's the way forward. We certainly won't be entertaining. If somebody wants to come and work for 4 days, and we'll be flexible with times with people, then we'll accommodate that, but we won't be paying them 5 days money for 4 days work. Yeah. That's for sure. And you know yourself, 4 days are going to become 3 days, and you know, Mondays and Friday illnesses. Look, put it like that. The people that want to do it, and the people that do it the right way will benefit even more.
I think if people are given the choice, like you're saying, with a share of profits as well, I think those people would probably want to get out the 5 days and get it done. What we've been looking at Taylor Roofs is trying to do the 5 days work in 4.5 days by upping efficiencies, being more profitable, cutting out any, you know, extended lunch breaks that's been like happens, or, you know, just any inefficiencies with weather and just sort of, so we're putting it back to the team to say, we want to go to 4.5 days, not 4, but 4.5. We'll pay you, you know, your 5 days money, you'll work 4.5, but only if the company can win and the customer can win as well. So it should be like a win-win-win scenario. Because how would some of the customers feel as well if they're paying top money to WeFix, and WeFix only goes out 4 days and they're all off on the Friday, say, or... See,
the problem with Jamie, though, is that the half a day that you're maybe doing away with, or the day that a lot of people are doing away with, it doesn't disappear. Mm-hmm. So a customer still wants a plumber or still wants someone to answer the phone. So if we went on to a 4-day week, we'd have to employ more staff, train more staff, and there's a massive shortage of top engineers. And you know yourself, tradesmen don't necessarily work basic 8 hours a day kind of thing. In other words, they're already doing 60, 70 hours. But if you take 20% of that off of them, you're never gonna cover the work. You're never gonna be what the customer wants available. You know, I do believe in the work-life balance, but you know, you have to sort of, you know, do what's going to be best for the business and the company. And you know, anybody can turn a company into 3 days a week, but is the bottom line going to work? And
if your focus is on quality like it always has been, then how can you deliver quality if it's squeezed in and it's rushed?
Well,
So
that's it.
that leads to cutting corners and different things.
Jamie, I'll be honest with you. If we had an engineer putting a boiler installation in and heating installation, electrics and everything, and it's like a solid 5 days work, and he got it done in 4, I'd be very concerned that we know what I'm saying, the shortcuts and all that. I mean, look, the 4 day a week will work for certain people. It work for non-profitable companies, charities. It work for people that are just keeping a seat warm, messing about with a computer. But manufacturing, retail, trades, I don't think it's the way forward. I really, I feel it's a step backwards. I understand where you're coming from, but I feel that, you can call it 4.5 day, call it how you want to word it, but I think that, what happens, for argument's sake, if your guy doesn't get it completed in 4.5 days? And I don't mean that,
No, I'm totally with you. It's something that I'm looking at it with an open mind and not just totally saying no to a 4 day week. I don't think the 4 day work week can work, if I'm honest, but 4.5 days might. But again, like you said, it's got all these stipulations and you need the full team to be on board with. If it doesn't work, what do we do? How are we going to overcome that? Because you can't just leave a customer 4.5 days into a job and we'll
the problem you have, Jamie, when you give somebody something, it's harder to take it back off them.
Yeah.
So, once you say to someone, you can start at 10 or you can do 4 days or 4.5, it's harder to go back. And, I mean, it depends who you're going to take on board. You've got some people that are happy to do 3 or 4 days a week and, they for their own reasons. And you've got other people that want to do 7 days a week because they want to buy an house, they want to go on holiday, they want to bring their children up in a nice financial situation. So it's all about, I think, the business, and it's all about the type of people that you want to employ. And I've got to be honest with you, I don't want to employ people that just want to come and work and wear their old clothes out. We want people to have a share of the profits. We want people that are proud to be working for us and has put as much as they can in on it, but very professionally.
How long do you think it'll take you? Because you're coming from a standing start this time, but it's not a standing start given the 45 years experience.
Well, 41 with the company.
Yeah, and you've had a bit of time
prior
out.
to that, yeah.
How long do you envisage it taking to go from like 0 to like 50 million?
Oh, blimey, that's a difficult question. I'm not sure I could even answer that, but what I do expect, it will take us 12 months and we'll be at the front. Ours ain't just going to be about turnover this time. It ain't going to be about just taking on numbers. We're not going down that road no more. It may well be that, we don't get to that turnover, but the way we're going to do it, we're going to have less people on board working for us. We're going to have less people in the office working for us, but more efficient people. A bit like what you said, get the best people. Yeah. And look,
that's interesting. So you're looking to be the best at what you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be sort of as big as it maybe was before, but as long as it's lean, efficient.
That's exactly it.
The staff have got buy-in because they've got the profit share. Everybody's going in the same direction. The customer's winning.
Yeah, it's probably a bit like the John Lewis branch when they sort of get people in and they share the profits. They don't just take on numbers. Mm-hmm. They take on people they feel is going to be right for the business, people that want to be there, and that's what we're going to do. It's not a number game no more for
people
us.
Who want to pay for that quality. Like they believe in the quality service. They're not looking for the cheapest quote in the market. They're just looking for the job to be done right first time. And
that's it. And
if there was an issue, you would maybe return or whatever. Like they want that peace of mind that they're buying into a brand.
It's like me saying to you, you're better off, Jamie, having 20 good roofers rather than 40 and 20 are not so good. You know what I'm saying? Because of the problem. So that's the angle we're going to go in. But again, there's a massive, massive market for top tradesmen, whether it be in London, whether it be in Scotland. There's a massive shortage. So again, it's going to be run differently. Where I think at Pimlico, we just kept growing and growing. And maybe we took our eye off the ball a little bit because, sometimes we had people on longer than what we should have done. And I don't think you can do that these days. I think if I've got to be honest with you, the person ain't right, they've gone. Yeah. I know they've got all these workers' rights and we're compliant with what it is, but if you don't stack up, then, there's no point. It's probably a bit like, I have to say it, use it in this term, but I think if you go in Harrods and you've got someone serving you, you'd expect
a Harrods service.
A service, yeah. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at with the tradesmen. If we can't provide that top quality tradesmen and top quality office staff, then we'll be smaller rather than larger. But, London's a big place.
It does make sense, and I've heard you say it numerous times over the years that the best time to get rid of someone, and I know it's not just as easy as get rid of someone, but is when you first think about it.
Of course it is.
I've heard you saying that multiple times, and it makes sense because you get a gut feeling, and if it feels wrong at that time,
why
usually quite unlikely it's going to get better because you understand your business, you see how everyone is, you see what the culture's like, and if something's not sitting right with that, it's usually quite... It stands out like a sore thumb, doesn't it?
That's it. I mean, I think, because of the workers' rights, you don't want to build up sort of like a sort of situation where, I'm not happy with this person. No, I mean, I think it's got to be brought out in the open straight away. And if they're not doing what we require, then we need to part company.
And if the standards set high and the company values are here and the induction process is right, then there shouldn't be many that slip the net to get through and actually going out and...
That's right. I'll be shocked.
Nailed on from the start that this is like I'm sure there'll be loads that'll be turned away. Put it that way, and then there'll be
more turned away than what we take on. Yeah, because we're going to be paying the best money for tradesmen in the world. There's no two ways about that, and we're going to be offering what we would regard as the best top quality service, certainly in England, and I would say in the world. And I'm going to use that term that I always use. People will always pay for quality. But, they will not pay, you know what I'm saying? So I feel that on the other company, they might have had people there that maybe, they wouldn't get on with us now, put it like that. Maybe that's a better way.
Well, that's good that you're keeping the standard high, because I'm sure that's what London wants to hear as well.
I think you've got no choice, because I think the problems that you can incur today with bad tradesmen and the type of value in properties that we're working in, we're going to go beyond. We've had sort of quite some get-togethers on talking about this, and we've decided that if somebody don't stack up for us, they have to go. And all these people go, "Oh, you're ruthless, you're heartless." That's nonsense. If I'm paying you X amount of money to do a job, and that's the standard, if you're not supplying that to me, then I'm not in the wrong. It's just a case of, You just got to be the top quality. If you want top quality, it's a bit like you're not going to drive a Rolls Royce and it's going to like behave like a Mini, is it? You know what I mean? You're not going to have a Mini.
We're not getting started on the Mini jokes again.
Eh?
We're not getting started on the Mini jokes again.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
Last time you were asking me how the Mini was, so I got.
We're going to run it on the basis that people will always pay for quality, and that's really how I've done it before. But I just feel we grew probably too big, and I think we may have took our eye off the ball at times, because we numbers and numbers, and then you get more office staff, and then you realise yourself. I think probably one bad tradesman can be so damaging to your reputation that
it'll be quite refreshing to have a clean slate again.
Yeah,
and like you said, that was a big, huge business, and at times it probably got sort of that way, like you said, if you maybe took your eye off the ball and it got a bit out of control in certain times, then it's good to be back to that blank canvas. I heard you saying that it was one of your biggest regrets selling Pimlico Plumbers.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Well, two reasons really. I think one is when you start something and you say that's your baby, and all of a sudden you haven't got it no more. I think having something for that long and then, moving it on for the money or other things, I think was come in the situation. I thought the timing was right. I think that's the big regret. The other regret, I have to be honest with you, we was absolutely buzzing. So if I'd have kept it for another 3 years, that would be 200 mil now. Yeah. Because we was just buzzing. Yeah. Absolutely. But I must be honest with you, there was changes that would have to have been made, and it would have probably meant getting rid of quite a lot of the staff that I don't think was up to our standards.
So you would have had to lean it down a bit and make it more efficient, get the standards back
changes had to happen, and the problem you have is when you had someone with you 5 or 10 years and all of a sudden they're not performing, it's not an easy task to get rid of these people. But and that's why I know now we cannot make mistakes. I'll be honest with you, we can't get it right, we'll wrap the business up.
Yeah.
But I'm fairly confident, and
I think it's good the way you did it. You got the money off the table for all your 42 years worth of hard work, and you're now in the position where you can go again, and the family can go again. And I think it was great. It might be difficult that Pimlico is just along the road. Pimlico Plumbers is just along the road, and it's maybe no yours anymore. But I think it'll always be renowned for what you started and what you made it, and then anything after that will be.
Yeah, but there's
post Charlie Mullins almost, so it'll be seen in a different light.
Yeah, look, I feel that that was a great company, and I think it was the best out there, and it may well still be the best. But I believe that what we're going to be providing now will be a different level. And I keep using this thing, it's always in my mind. People will always pay for quality. It's a bit like saying, do you want to go and buy I don't know if the shop's still out, Top Man or something, whether it's called for 200 quid, or do you want to go to Savile Road for 5,000? So, there is that market out there, and there's nothing wrong with a £200 suit, but if you're being paid to provide the top quality service, then that's what you need to do.
And what you're probably getting at there as well is you can't be, as a company, charging for the Savile Row, but actually delivering the Top Man. So what you're saying is, we're going to charge for the Savile Row, and we're going to give you a Savile Row experience, and that's what WeFix.
That's it. That's exactly going to be it.
And it makes sense.
Like this, I said we're going to do this share of the profits. I think that is an amazing incentive, absolutely amazing. And again, I think if we've got anyone in the team that ain't pulling their weight, everyone, hold on, look, this geezer don't stack up, and I'm not happy with the way he performs, because it's going to affect the bottom line. And so I feel in this day and age that could be the key to also our success, the fact that everybody's on a share of the profits.
I agree with that. And I also think the business landscape is changing, and as much as we get this sort of us versus them mentality sometimes between the businesses and the government, or the business, maybe the management and the employees, it's a time to come together, and actually everybody under, whether it's Taylor Roofs or it's WeFix, everyone should be believing in the same mission and saying, look, it might be terrible out there at the moment, it's hard to make a few quid, but let's actually all put into the same cause and go and deliver together.
I totally agree with you.
I'm with you with what you're trying to do.
Well, you know yourself that if everybody's part of it and you're all working together. We did do that on Pimlico a lot. We give lots of incentives, gym. We give free canteen times. We give, a voucher for Langham's restaurant for different employees of the month. So we give lots of incentives, Christmas parties, boat parties, barbecue on the roof. Amazing thing what we offer them. And we're still going to do that. I mean, you've got to incentivize people, but I just feel a share of the profits is the key to us being a different level from most businesses.
I think that'll work.
Yeah.
You've not been wrong many times in business, have you?
Well, I mean, we all make mistakes and we all learn from them. But I don't feel that we're not going to be. We're going to get it right. I mean, I just have to be honest. If we get it wrong, then we have to change it.
Yeah.
And you've seen already the brand. You've seen the quality of the vans. You've seen the quality of the uniform, quality of the call centre, and the working environment is going to be lovely. We've got, 4 of these railway arches are going to be ours for vehicle. We're going to bring back the van valeting business, where the vans are always clean and tidy. I honestly feel that we're just going to upgrade the level, and I think that's the way forward. I really do. I'm so. I mean, if we was coming back just to be like we was before, I wouldn't bother. There's no point. There's just no point.
You want to improve the slight tweaks that
exactly
to make it just that level again.
People used to always say to us when we was younger, there's no substitute for experience, and that's right. And yourself, what you pick up over the years in the trade, and you know what people want. You know what they don't want, and you know what they do want. And if you can provide what they want, then it's a winner.
We've covered plenty there. Really happy with all the stuff we've covered. What I would like to finish on is apprenticeships. I know you've been massive on it in the past, and I'm assuming you're going to be going for it again, apprentices.
Apprenticeships, look, sorry, I've jumped in there because I'm really excited about the apprenticeship. Like yourself, you started as an apprentice?
Yep.
And like me, you know, we that's where we come from. And I think to encourage other people to do that, knowing how successful they can be today by doing an apprenticeship. So we're red hot on that. We're going to have female and male on. And again, they're going to be proud to be working for us. And the apprenticeship side is a must. The apprentices are the future. The apprentices are the new Taylor Roofing or the new WeFix or Pimlico. And I just feel that, you know, I get so much pleasure out of a successful apprentice.
Yeah.
You know, and it changes your life. I mean, you know, I'm sure you can remember, you know, you got that apprenticeship and you can't see the future. I mean, if we could, bloody hell, I'd have worked harder at it kind of thing. But, you know, the apprenticeship ties you in, it steadies you down for 3-4 years. And again, I was told, and you was probably told, that what you don't earn then, you will earn later. And it was said to me at the time, do an apprenticeship with a trade, you'll never be out of work and you'll earn loads of money. That was 50 odd years ago. And today, that is more so than ever. And so the apprenticeship side is so exciting. And we've had loads of applicants already. There's, you know, I know we tend to knock a lot of people that are lazy, whether they be old or young. And, you know, I've done something shortly of just about, you know, old and young workers, who's the laziest there ain't. But, you know, we was all young once and we didn't really have that drive and enthusiasm that we got now. But I you know, there's youngsters out there that want to go to work. There's youngsters that want to sort of improve their life and want to be successful. And, you know, they're out there. So it's just a matter of marrying them up. And, whoever comes on to me as an apprentice, you know, I can't guarantee they'll be a millionaire, but for me, that's the best way to become a millionaire.
Yeah, and
do an apprenticeship.
Seeing is believing. And when I first read your book, it gave me that belief, and then you started to go and look on YouTube and stuff, and you'd see some snippets, and you'd see, like, in the Pimlico days when you had all the vans there and all the whiteboards, and that inspired me, and I thought, if he can do it, I can do it.
That's right.
Do you know? And,
and
when you deliver it in such a way that's just common sense, like, there's nothing in there that's like some of these things that's coming out now, which is like get rich quick schemes online and all of that. It's just, a lot of this is just common sense and hard work and standards.
I like the word you standards.
If you apply yourself to that in an apprenticeship, I believe all young people should get the opportunity to see what you've done, see what successful people in the trades business have done, and get into that.
Well, you know yourself, the time when I think Cameron and Osborne was working quite closely with the government on apprentices. And they was booming. They was getting the figures up. Everyone wanted to be, you know, it's trendy to be an apprentice. Unfortunately, you know, things have happened in government and things have changed around a bit. I don't believe Labour are going to be that helpful on apprentices, but I'll do it myself. I don't, you know, I don't know if I've mentioned it to you, but there's a great entrepreneur, JT Fox, Canadian, lives in America, billionaire, started with nothing. And he's opened up trade schools, and me and him are going to be opening up a trade school in London. I think it's going to be called the Charlie Mullins Academy or something like that. And I feel that I think people are screaming out for, you know, to get into the workplace. And you know yourself, some of these youngsters have got so much drive. Yeah. You know, and I quite like, and I always have liked, I love I employ a lot of old people. And a lot of young people, and I like the mixture because, you know, it's that same old thing. We all learn from somebody, and I would say we normally learn from older people or more experienced people, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's what's it about. And I just think an apprenticeship is such an opportunity.
And I think that's the way it's going. We've been looking at it for a number of years, like a roofing academy, and it might end up being an overall construction academy up in Scotland where we're based. We're having multiple conversations with that, and I think it looks as though it is the dynamic's going to move to the industry, like to the actual business owners are going to have to formalise these academies and just take it into their own hands because the government aren't helping. They aren't doing enough to give us the funding that they'll give universities or other areas.
I think I've said to you before, Jamie, that the idea that I'd come up with, and probably many people have, is when you leave school, you've either got a job, you go to university if you can afford it, or you do an apprenticeship. And a government-funded apprenticeship scheme will work amazing. And you can just imagine it, the youngsters, you know what I mean, all of a sudden they've got a job, they're not hanging about on the streets. It cuts down crime, it cuts down rehabilitation, it cuts down, just a general sort of, if I'm being, I don't want to use the word stabbing, but I suppose I do. But you don't normally find people that go to work go around stabbing people. So, it's a lot of pluses, not just about money. And I just feel, I don't know, it's like when someone goes to university, they're given that great opportunity to do well in life. And I think that's the same as an apprenticeship. You're given that opportunity and then it's up to you.
Brilliant, Charlie. I think we covered everything.
Yeah, well...
I think we might have a part 3 on our hands once we see how this place gets rocking, so...
Well, it'd be very interesting to see, whether you come back in 6 months or 12 months and, where we are then. And I actually think it's going to take us 12 months to really, come to the front. Yeah. But not about numbers, not about figures, just about the quality of service.
Well, thanks very much, Charlie. I think we were your first media in here, so...
it's the first interview. Yeah. I know our last interview went down well, and a lot of people talk about it. And I've watched quite a few of your interviews now, and I think that people are starting to realise the value of we all learn from somebody. Yeah. That's that saying.
For me, it's just celebrating the trade, showing what's possible. Stood out there with you in the car park with your Rolls Royce, and you're saying you can have one of them, and it's not always just about money and roses and things, but you've got to have dreams, you've got to have goals, and if you get a trade behind you, you can achieve anything.
You're right.
And you're testament to that.
I'm just going to pick you up on the dreams bit, right? And don't necessarily go on your dreams, because often, your dreams are you want to be a footballer, you want to be a reality star, you want to be an actor. And the problem with dreams is that, when you get to about 30, 35, it didn't work, and you're skint, you've got no money. So as much as, it's lovely to have dreams, I don't think dreams, are the answer. In other words, one in X amount of million make it. And I'm not knocking any youngster that you want to be a footballer and you want to be a reality star, but you know what I mean? We're in a real world, and if you want to go forward now, I would say don't follow your dreams, follow your prospects. And your prospects at the moment in this building industry or trade industry is booming, but again, I'm not knocking anyone. Please do as they want to do, but dreams don't pay your mortgage.
Getting an apprenticeship does.
That's it. Spot on.
Thanks, Charlie.
What's an ending?
Man. I appreciate it.
What an ending. What's an ending?